Hi, creators. Doro Kiley here again with creationcoach.com. And today's question was inspired by this guy I've talked about before, Yash, on the spiritual renaissance. His question was, what is the I got some things blocking the view here. Anyway, what is the dual no, hang on. What is the definition of a non-dual spiritual awakening? So that kind of inspired me. The question today is, what is awakening? Good question. Now, that's two questions actually. What is it that is awakening? And what does awakening mean? So two questions there. I'm gonna clarify right from the get-go that you cannot put this into words. So, everything, anybody who's awakened and realizes it, usually after the fact, has to build a story around their experience in order to share it. So this is my story, and we all have our stories. And I'll go ahead and just say that a lot of it is where, in order for me to rebuild my life afterwards, I kind of had to come up with a model of what's going on. So, by the way, my experience back in the 70s was not drug induced. It was purely deep meditative practices, going to retreats, lots of yoga. I was following all the teachings by Ram Dass. I was kind of in that crowd, and Stephen Levine, and there were plenty of others. It was a magical time, actually, back in the 70s. A lot of spiritual teachers were coming in from everywhere, bringing it from the East to our culture. You probably, mostly I think through the hippie revolution or whatever. So what is awakening? I'm going to bring this up, see if I can actually share screens. I'm using Zoom now for my yeah, let's see. Okay, so let me first introduce you to this guy, Yash. This is Yash. This is the guy that I like to listen to. He's quite wise, got plenty of insight and inspirational. I don't know where he is or anything, but he's got some good information. So there's that. Now, I want to go on to look at this again, and you've seen this probably a number of times that I have shared. So when I came out of what I call my awakening, sitting in meditation for 3 days, I was gone. I was like in a coma, and it was blissful. And I was aware, but there was nobody there. And so anyway, somebody came and told me to eat something after 3 days. And so I came out of that and realized I had nothing to hold on to. There was nothing that was real. All of reality had been kind of turned upside down. I couldn't trust my thoughts. I didn't believe my own thinking anymore. And I realized after a while, and it did take me a while, I realized I was going to have to rebuild my identity, and then it had to become a creative process. And I think that's what we're all doing unconsciously anyway. So this model here that I'm sharing is basically what I have picked up over the years from various Eastern traditions, and just through my own meditations, tuning in to what I see and what is out there. I feel there is some guidance that I can tap into that shows me things. So my understanding of awakening is basically we are in this process of evolution, spiritual, or you could say soul evolution, from the bottom to the top. It's not so cut and dry. Obviously, we can have a deeply spiritual experience up here in the truths and insights. Now, this side over here, grief, lies, and illusions and ego attachment, this is part of the path, but we'll probably need more explaining. But anyway, so the process is going up, and you can be a little bit here and a little bit there and all over the place, and many times we are. So the question is, how do we get from the bottom to the top, and then what? So that's the real question, because when you get to the top, there's nothing there. You have gone beyond duality. So there's no will anymore. You're not doing anything. But you end up either, there's no time or space or anything beyond there. So what my experience was, I was gone and something brought me back, and it was almost like, let me go to this next one, like being like if you imagine a human sitting here in meditative posture and you've got the chakras all lined up, then you raise the energy goes up and then it just goes out. And then by some force, and it's a force bigger than any of us can know, it brings you back around. And so you don't have to, you're never going to get lost. So you come up, you get enlightened, and then you either go away and stay in whatever bliss that is forever and ever, whatever, or something will bring you back around. Usually we could call it karma. Will bring you back around to start all over again. But once you've had that enlightening experience, you understand that everything is a story. It's all roles. We all play roles. And we come back in, and now we're what they would call bodhisattva, that has an understanding that this is just a process. It's hard to call it a game sometimes, because there is truly, truly suffering going on in the world. And to say it's a game is almost blasphemous. But when you get above and you rise up, and you, especially in the love area, you begin to realize you have to have two sides of the coin. You can't have one side of a coin without the other. So, and as Ram Dass had even written a book about, called "This is the only dance there is." You can go into nothing and that's it, or you can be engaged in life from a level that is conscious and aware. What I would like to introduce here, this middle pole here, I'm going to say first these serpents weaving in and out. You could say male and female. There's a lot of definitions you could lay on top of these opposing serpents, but you could say this is the judging mind, and it starts all the way down. And so when you're going up, you're weaving in and out of all these emotions all day long. Some are really hard, some are blissful. Up and up we go. This can take lifetimes, many, 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 many lifetimes. In fact, all of the horizontal lines I have drawn in here are to symbolize, like the leaves of a book, the pages of a book, that every page is a lifetime. And so we end up spiraling. It's actually not pages, it's a tight spring, so we're spiraling up. Now, the way to stay in the center here is for what I would call the witness. And the witness is the knowing that you are just watching this unfolding, being aware of your own self watching, or your own higher being watching what's going on. That way you are not being tossed around, between all these currents. If you have a wagon wheel, I should draw a picture of a wagon wheel and lay it on top. A wagon wheel, and if it's turning and you take a piece of gum and stick it on the outside, it's going to go around and around. And if that's you, going around here, and you're, in and out of pleasure and guilt and power and shame, and you're just cycling around and around, it becomes very bewildering. Now, through the meditation practices, you can teach yourself to let's, for example, say put that piece of gum right in the center of the wagon wheel. So you're in the hub, you're right in the core of the wagon wheel. So now the wheel is turning, and you're turning, but you're not going anywhere. But you do have access to seeing what's going on down through all of the spokes off the hub. And this practice of mindfulness runs all the way from the bottom to the top, where you are just a witness. You are like not in the circus, but you are up in the bleachers far away looking down into the ring. You can see everything that's going on, but you're not being trampled by elephants and thrown around by acrobats and what have you. So you become more of an audience to life. That's it. That's what I think awakening is. I think that is the definition, in my view, of what is awakening. Now, the question is, what's awakening? What is that? And what is it in us that is awakening? I think it's just the currents. We are moving into a time of awakening. And I'm not saying everybody, this all comes in everybody's own personal time because of their own karmic predicament. But the process is each person in their own time will go through these cycles. And you could say each line here, every single line here is perhaps another lifetime. There's another way of just defining this, but we won't go into that right now. And you can see there's 3 levels, and it's really a wonderful image of what I see the universe as being. And this can be in a fractal, right? So this could be in one life, this could be in multiple lifetimes, this could be human consciousness all together. This could be the shape of the universe. So it all fits together. But the thing that's relevant, and this could also just be the shape of a cell in our body, and maybe we are living in a universal cell in somebody else's body that is enormous. So the question is, what is awakening? Is life force is awakening. Certainly not everybody, but there is a push. It's like going into a different season. The petals of the flower fall, and so there's a push for fruiting. So there's a blossoming of fruiting, whatever analogy you want to use. So what is awakening is, I would just say, the life force behind everything. What is causing a tree to grow apples? What is causing the seasons to change? What causes the galaxies to move around in space? I mean, this is the movement of life. That's what's waking up, and it's just in season. This is not like a once ever happening. This is coming in cycles. So that's it. That's what's awakening, and that's what is awakening. So anyway, that's let me see if I can get this off now. I don't know how to use this very well. Okay, so that's my conclusion for today. And I hope you stay creative.